I also saw it. The questionnaire I gave to them yesterday. I look at all the devices. I was wondering what is in our mind attending this seminar. We are attending this seminar to get some knowledge, or we are attending this seminar because we want to implement or be part of this program of advertising and promoting this Varnasrama and take it upon ourselves to make sure it happens. I was just thinking about that in my mind. Unfortunately, when I looked through the questions yesterday, it is also one of the things I can say. I'm curious to know what some of us are feeling in that form. Because I have seen many people have attended so many seminars. I have done Bhakti Sastri just to get a certificate. Just to get a certificate. The diploma. They have learned so many slokas to pass the test. And after that, at the end, most of the slokas we can't remember. And the certificate is in our box. I would not like to have such devotees in this seminar, because if we don't go back to the basics, we're not going to be successful. Even in the practice of our devotional service, we're chanting the holy name. How many of us here will continue in a Sankirtan 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week? Or our deity worship, we can be expertly dressing the deities for a whole week. Or we can have hundreds of disciples and have powerful panda preaching program for 1 week without food. How many of us? Nobody? My question is, how many of us will continue to do our Sankirtan? What a wonderful service. Or deity worship, or having so many wonderful disciples, millions, without food in their stomach.
For 1 week.
For 1 week. Without food.
You can do it 1 day.
No, not even 1 day. Okay, some of us can fast on the Kadasi there. So 1 day.
But you can't do deity worship without offering.
If Krishna does not need our food. Varnasrama system is established for us, not for Krishna. Of course, when he came, he identified himself as Vaishya because apparently his father was a Vaishya. But not for him, it is for us. Lakshmis are cooking for him unlimited preparations, so he doesn't need our person. It is impossible, therefore, we have to produce our own food. We were told yesterday that even our Jews who are buying the market. We have so many Jewish factories. The directors are my friends, and I visit them and I see what they are producing. All contaminated. And we are offering all this also to Krishna. Krishna accepts pure food, which is what love, and produced from the heart of his devotees on the farm. Not just what we buy in a market. And people who are selling things that we buy in a market, they're not selling because they love us, they're selling because they need money. Therefore, they have no concern for you. They only care for their money. And that is just the items we are buying. So, the Varnasrama Dharma, it is a necessity that should be established. Like Prabhu suggested yesterday, it should be proposed to the GVC. So it can be passed as a resolution. That can be passed as a resolution, but if we don't identify the people who are interested to take to it directly, it will remain a past resolution and no practice. We have so many like that. We have been in DPC meetings, we have so many party resolutions which have not been implemented. This shouldn't be one of those unpassed resolutions. It should be a resolution which is in practice. So, I want to end my contribution here. Thank you.
So now Madhava Prabhu is going to give us a presentation. Land and cows.
Personally, I don't like getting into the philosophical aspects of Varnasrama because it's difficult for me. But we will get into two aspects of our movement, whether you call it Varnasrama or you call it Prithivite Achajada Nagaradigram Sarvatra Pracharam. So we want to preach in the towns and villages, so we cannot afford to neglect the villages. So this is what Srila Prabhupada, towards the end of his manifested pastime, this is one of the purports that he wrote. And this is the later purports of Srila Prabhupada. Killing the cows and spoiling the land will not solve the problem of food. As Damodar Maharaj very clearly said, we cannot do anything without food. This is not civilization. Uncivilized men living in the jungle and being unqualified to produce food by agriculture and cow protection may eat animals, but the perfect human society, advanced in knowledge, must learn how to produce first-class food simply by agriculture and protection of cows. So, go back to it again. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada is stating that if you're advanced in knowledge, you have to be able to produce first-class food. And today we have third-class food, because if you take the food which is made in, which is grown with fertilizers, you will definitely get heart disease. And plus, each food that we're eating has different problems. I will probably state them as I go ahead. So, only through cow protection can agriculture grow, and only with agriculture can cow protection manifest. Without it, it will not. Another quotation which is in line with what Srila Damodar Maharaj said. This is from the BTG that Srila Prabhupada was producing before he went to the States. This is in volume 3, part 6, May 20, 1956. Srila Prabhupada writes this. The Virat Purusha is the gigantic material conception of the Supreme Lord who pervades all over the universe. The Brahmins, who are learned and intelligent class of the highest order by qualities and work, but not by birthright, are considered to be produced from the mouth of the Virata. The function of the mouth is twofold. The one important function of the mouth is that it is the inlet opening of the whole body for taking in all foodstuff to be dispatched to the region of the stomach. There are many holes in the body, but the mouth is the only one hole which is able to swallow down all kinds of foodstuff on behalf of the stomach. Stomach is the central place where all the foodstuff is given proper assimilation and distribution of strength throughout the body. The whole energy of body is generated from the action of the stomach, and therefore the complete energy of the body is meant for feeding the stomach. I would thank Damodar Maharaj again for putting the emphasis back in the stomach. Thank you, Maharaj. The power of assimilation, which is a prerogative of the stomach, only is an emblem of divine energy. So your stomach is actually not an thing of greed. It is created by the Lord for a particular purpose. He could have created us without the stomach, but He has created us with the stomach for a particular reason. The divine energy in the stomach has been designated as Vaishvanara, or an energy of intense heat representing the inconceivable power of Godhead. Incubation of heat generated in the stomach cannot be produced artificially in the physical laboratory of the material scientists. The Vaishvanara is the vital energy, vital power in the body. The vitamin therapy of foodstuff is dependent on the Vaishvanara heat. The vitamins are produced by the heat, and it is not that there is vitamin in the foodstuff offered to the stomach. So this Prabhupada refutes the so-called vitamin theories of so-called scientists. That it is not the vitamins in your food that gives you the vitamins, it is the Vaishvanara who changes this. This Vaishvanara heat produces different qualities of vitamins at different places, and now he's going to give you the argument for it. Why so? About the Vaishvanara. The Vaishvanara heat in the stomach of a cow produces different vitaminous energy from the one which is produced in the stomach of a human being. So he's saying there are different fires in different people's stomachs. It's the same Lord who is manifesting in different forms in different people's different species in different forms of heat. For example, the fragments of straw itself has no vitamin value by chemical analysis. But when it is put in the stomach of a cow, straw produces enormous volumes of vitamin D and A, while the same straw put into the stomach of a human being will cause starvation to death. This is the inconceivable power of the Supreme Lord. Next. Pure ghee, clarified butter, offered on the fire of yajna produces more and more ghee. If you use ghee, it will produce more ghee. But non-acceptance of such sacrificial rites under the plea of non-productive economy drives away completely the production of ample pure ghee, yielding place to the harmful hydrogenated vegetable oils. In the Ayurvedic scriptures, oil is particularly mentioned to be harmful for the stomach, but in absence of sacrificial energy of the human being, he is forced to accept harmful vegetable oil for the stomach in the name of and absence of pure unadulterated clarified butter. That is the importance of the process of yajna, and that is the law of nature. So Srila Prabhupada is coming to ghee, and now he will connect it to the stomach. Next. Foolish people think vitamin value of foodstuff in their own way and push into the stomach all sorts of rubbish things, I think, thinking that Vaishvanara heat, representative of the Supreme Lord, will accept any such rubbish thing for assimilation. The case is different. The Vaishvanara, representative of Godhead in the stomach of the human being, can accept only leaves, flowers, fruits and vegetables group, and the pure water and milk for vitaminizing the human energy. The mouth being the entrance of the region of the stomach, it must guard the tongue of every human being to acquire the quality of Brahmin, who can accept only foodstuff of sattvic quality. The description of sattvic quality of food is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and also of the Brahmin in fact, and that of the Brahmin in fact. Okay, so this is basically what Srila Prabhupada had to say before he started his journey to the West, and he's talking about that you have to, eating is also yajna. So if we do not have, if you're not understanding that we don't understand that what we put into our mouth also has to have quality, and it has to be accepted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as yajna, then only we will get energy, otherwise we will not get energy. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is making this point in this BTG, in which he is saying that if we want to satisfy the Lord, we have to satisfy Him with every action, including our eating. And just putting vegetable oils will not solve the problem. So this is one aspect of thing that we wanted to go into. Shall we move on now to the cows? So without protecting cows, you cannot get ghee, and without ghee, you cannot satisfy the Lord. And just by saying that there's not enough ghee, so therefore we will take the vegetable oils, is not going to solve the problem. So until unless yasmin tushte jagat tushte, until unless He's satisfied, our bodies cannot be satisfied and nourished. So I was going to talk about certain practical aspects of cow protection. First and foremost, the sheds. Now, as soon as we enter into cow protection, one of the things that we'll have to understand is the importance of sheds. Sheds for cows and bulls have a lot of importance, because if it is not properly made and kept, it causes disease. This is what they do in villages for the summer. They do not keep cows indoors in the summers. It is not advisable, because if you keep them throughout the year inside your sheds, then the ticks and different animals and parasites, etc., they make their homes within the sheds. So it is important to break the cycle of these ticks or ectoparasites and different things like that. So for that purpose, we need to keep cows and animals in different sheds at different times of the year. Now this is to protect the cow from the heat and also the dew at night and even in the day. Because direct dew is not good for the cows. But dew is good to remove parasites. So it is important that we understand the importance of sheds and just not make sheds just like that. It has its importance and its place and how it has to be done. The rainy months, you make a very good shed and keep them inside. But keeping them in the shed, in the same shed throughout the year, you're simply going to breed parasites. Secondly, cleaning with water or cleaning as many places, crevices, etc., where the parasites can make homes, including the ropes that you tie them, have to be careful with them. Another thing is ectoparasites generally leave the bodies of the cows when they get the dew, or the night cools the body of the animal and the dew comes on the animal. So they normally like warm places and dry places. So that is another reason that in the summers you keep them out, and in the winter, on the rainy seasons, you keep them inside. So that's an important aspect about cows. I don't want to talk about the other philosophical aspect which has already been going on. Now let's go to inside the cow shed. Basically, whether it is inside or outside, we all have to understand one important thing, that cows do not eat anything that has a smell of their urine or their dung. So therefore, you have to make a separation in front of them, basically tying some kind of a wood or some bamboo or some kind of separation, which you can see here. On the right hand side, you can see the place where you give them the feed, and the inside part is for them to stand. So this is a village thing. They will repair it. This was in the summers that we took the picture. So I'm going to go back to the old one, Prabhu. Yeah. So in the front side there, that is the breeding area for your pests. where you get all the pests will be breeding, where you keep the straw, and the straw goes into the crevices and the cracks in that area. I don't know what you call that area in English. What do you call that area where you feed the cow? Feeding area? Feed trough, okay. In Marathi, I think we call it godni. In Hindi, I don't know what you call it. Bangla ki bole? In Marathi, they call it godni. So that is an aspect where you need to keep things very clean. And you should understand that is the place for breeding of a lot of parasites and insects in that area. Preferably clean it with water, if not at least broom it very nicely. Now, the second aspect about this cowshed, the internal cowshed, is that there has to be a slight slope to the back. But mind you, the sloping should not be more than 1 inch. Because if you slope it more than 1 inch, then it becomes difficult for the cows, especially the cows that are carrying. The weight goes onto the hind legs and it causes problem for them. So you should keep the slope not more than 1 inch. If you can reduce it, even better, but not more than 1 inch. Okay? So it is good to keep cows inside in the rainy season and the winter. But when weather is warm, try to keep them outside. Or at least the bulls. If possible, the cows also. So this helps keeping, I'm talking about natural systems where we don't have pumps and water and all those things, where you have to do things in a very natural way. Okay? Okay. So this is what you see next to the house with that, in Marathi they call it jharpi. I don't know what they call it in this part. It's what do you call it? They just cover it like that so that the rain doesn't hit the cowshed. They completely cover the wall also, and the cows normally stay there in the winter, and then they'll go into the other one during the summer. So it's important to keep these areas nice and dry. In the rainy season, what normally, where it is very rainy, what people do is that they take leaves, dry leaves in the summer, and they store them up in bags, huge bags, and then they spread it on the floor for the cows to sit down. It's nice and warm bed, soft bed. And then they collect the dry, the cow dung that falls on it with their hands, and every day spread one layer of leaves on it. So this gives them a fresh and a dry bed every day, and the urine is absorbed by the leaves in the rainy season. And then after 3 or 4 days, or twice a week, or so once or twice a week, they will remove all the leaves and put it into the compost, and then they'll they'll spread dry leaves again. This continues throughout the rainy season for 2 to 3 months, 3 to 4 months. So this is one way that they get good compost and also keep the cows nice and healthy and fresh. And therefore you see that if they're kept like that, you'll very rarely see them getting diseases. So this is a very important aspect in cow protection. Your sheds are important, and understand how you keep them. And make sure there's some kind of partition between their food, the area where they kind of eat, the feeding trough, and where they stand, because then otherwise anything gets contaminated, and they have a tendency to kind of walk around and move around, so then they kind of step into their food. Okay, even there, yeah. So these are different areas, different sheds that they are making for different times. They are making these are simple sheds that I make. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not necessary to be very, very expensive. Cow care is not very expensive. It's not, you don't need to spend a lot of money making big sheds and big things like that. You can do it in a very simple way. You can see that shed on the side. You can see the tiled roof there? Yes. The tile, that's the shed for the rainy season for them. So they will cover that one side which is open that you see now. They'll cover it with grass, a kind of a thing, and then they'll keep the cows there. So cow shed doesn't really require you to put in, especially in places like India where places are warm. And normally cows can withhold quite a lot of temperature. Second thing important in cow shed is that keep air circulation very good. If you don't, then they tend to fall sick very often. So good air circulation within the cow shed. Then Another important thing that the Shastras mention about cows is that never keep the cows in the dark at night. Always have a lamp burning at night. Another interesting thing that the scriptures say about cows is that it is good to read scriptures to the cows. It is good to read scriptures to the cows, Shastras, to the cows. It's very good. And in fact, the person who does it will feel very enthusiastic, and I'm sure the cows also feel very enthusiastic. So these are aspects of cow shed. Shall we go over? Go to the next slide. Yeah. Now it is a decision for a time for the bulls. Now bulls and cows are of two different temperaments. Cows are more kind of friendly, docile, little fidgety, different temperaments are there. And bulls are more grave, and Srila Prabhupada writes that you feel that sometimes they are like old sages. And if you see a bull sitting somewhere, like an old sage, he'll sit down, very grave, he'll look at you with a very grave expression. So, working with bulls is another important thing. If you do not, to control the bull, the nose, you pierce the nose, put a string normally when you want to use them as a bullock. And they also have the nose ring, but it has kind of gone out of circulation. I don't know why it has gone out of circulation, but normally people don't know how to use the nose ring so much. In India, haven't seen. You've seen, anyone has seen anywhere in India usage of the nose ring in any particular way? In America, they still use the nose ring. But in India, they haven't used, I don't know, maybe poverty has made them go into this kind of a thing. Or what, I don't know. Another important thing is, with both the bulls and the cows, if you are taking them out to graze, it's important now, when you're taking them out to graze, they sometimes may stray away. So always put bells in their necks. You'll be able to find them. We've had several times when we lost our cows because we didn't have bells and we didn't know where they are. So it's important to have good bells in their necks. Yes, Prabhu.
In New Vrajamandala, we had one cow. She didn't really like getting milk. She was very old. She was giving 4 liters of milk a day after 9 years of being dried up. And we put a bell on her, but she didn't like getting milk. So she knew the trick to stand still when it was time to find her. So that but cows can be tricky too.
Well, normally when they're afraid, because we stay in the jungle, normally when they're afraid, they like to kind of, if they hear, because normally she was one special one, but normally they would like to be found. They might go stray here, but as the evening comes, they kind of become fidgety to go back home. And then if they hear you coming from somewhere, they'll normally try to go next to you and be near you. Because by the evening, they normally want to come back home. So that's natural for them. Because also they get the grains in the thing. Another aspect about cows is, yes, hay is definitely a very important thing, or hay or grass is definitely very important for the cows for the good health. But you need to give them at least 10 to 20% grains every day, or oil cakes or grains or like wheat. Rice is not a preferred item to be given to cows. Especially cooked rice will normally cool their bodies, which is not good and causes diseases to them. But some places they do give them rice bran. I don't know how, but it's good to give them grains. Especially oil cakes are excellent for them. So, after human consumption, when we take off most of the oil, then it is excellent for them. In fact, if you start feeding your cows with oil cakes, especially peanut cakes, or even sesame cakes, you will notice one thing, that it's like chocolate for them. They'll run for it. You cannot even restrain a bull if he sees the cake in front of him. You cannot restrain him. So for good health, you need to give them cakes. Otherwise, you have to have some mixture. Another thing important is we do give a lot of corn to the cows. The corn stock is okay, but be careful in giving them too much of corn, maize. I don't know about the other breeds in other places, but the Indian breeds, if you tend to give them more corn, then you make their hooves very soft. The hooves tend to become very soft. It's good for milk. It gives them a lot of fat. It's about 80% fat, maize. But do not give them a lot of them. You give them occasionally now and then. But if you give them regularly, and to bulls, you have to be very careful how much you give. So it is important for these. Okay, now go past this. This will come tomorrow. Go cross this. Yes. These are the uses of bulls. Bulls have not just to be used only for farming. This is an oil ghani. We will talk about it tomorrow when we talk about technologies, rural technologies. Bulls can be used for extracting your oil, and the oil can be used for, the cakes can be used for the animals. Oil cakes also have other usage, like the used in fertilizing the fields. Neem cakes and karanji cakes and other cakes like that is very, very useful for growing a lot of crops and very good fertilizer. Next. These are other usage of bulls. Now I would like to go into agriculture a little bit, or maybe I'll come later. Can you close it for some time? Give everyone a little break. Okay. So we will change topics a little bit now. We will go into the medicines, because people keep asking me a lot about the cow medicines that we keep making. You can see those shampoos and soaps and ointments and what do you call them? Skin. What do you call them? Face packs, different things like that. They've been very useful. The first time I got into cow medicine was in the year 1999, and for years, practically 22 years, I had a severe sinusitis problem. Practically every morning when I get up, or if I'm near a fan or sitting under a fan, or even if I see a fan, if I sit in a AC room, then I would definitely get a running nose, sometimes fevers, sneezing, etc. But for after 1.5 years of usage of this cow urine tablet, the whole thing went off. It hasn't come back till today. In 1999, it's been 8 years now. Yes, Gomutra Ghanvati. This is a distillate. This is a residue of making cow urine arka, or distilled cow urine. What remains at the bottom when you distill cow urine is this Ghanvati. It's hard. It doesn't have the pungent smell of ammonia as you get in cow urine, but it is quite useful and has a little lesser potency than the cow urine, but it is still good. So anyone who doesn't like the cow urine can use this. But I'm coming back to yeah, we have some show bottles. Yeah. So these are wonderful medicines that the cows give us. This is actually second best to using direct cow urine. If you drink direct cow urine, you get a lot of things. For example, they say that it gives you back your micronutrients, which you lack in your body. It improves your liver. Srila Prabhupada says that Srila Prabhupada says that cow urine is the only medicine for the liver. And it's a slightly salty, pungent, astringent, sweet. The vipaka is sweet. If you drink cow urine, after that you find that the vipaka is sweet. You drink water, it is very sweet. So the vipaka is sweet. So like that, there are several effects of cow urine. In fact, cow urine can remove excess cholesterol in your body. It is an antioxidant, means it the damage that is done to your DNA because of stress or environmental pollutants or some kind of polluted food that we have taken, any carcinogens, which are oxidants. It is an antioxidant. It is full of very nice hormones, which is not bad for you. Normally hormones and steroids are bad, but this is not bad. This is good in very nice amounts, which does not cause interfere with your system. Then it can be used for One has to be careful though with cow urine. It is not the panacea for everything. If people are of, pitta prakriti, bilious constitution, then you have to be careful in using cow urine. You should use cow urine only with buttermilk, milk or coconut water, and preferably take it after prasadam, after meals, or you can take in very small quantities at night before going to bed. So these are very helpful things. Another thing that has really helped me a lot is this tooth powder. Srila Prabhupada says you burn cow dung and it is very excellent as a tooth powder. And this is charcoal made from cow dung. I have had several, abscesses, cavities and bridges made in my, the whole civil engineering department is within my mouth. With caps and drills and cements and all that because of whatever you call it, sugars or. But then I was really skeptical about this tooth powder because I thought this is something from the old tradition and I have all this modern stuff in my mouth. So I better use those toothpaste and keep brushing myself. Then I had a little problem with my, the last one that comes? Oh, wisdom, yes. So the molars were coming out and it came out a little odd. So I have a little swelling on my gum. So I've been brushing twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, at night before taking rest. But the swelling wouldn't go really, it just keeps out there and it keeps paining. And once I decided that I won't come out of the place where I stay. It's a small village, remote village where I took some of those pictures. So I ran out of toothpaste. So I decided that what to do, let's use this black stuff. Useless, So I started using this and my gum problem went away completely. And it's just not my case also. People with sensitive tooth have also used this and found great help. And carbon by nature is very good for. I'm not promoting. No, they sell them here in the Goshala. They've learned it from Belgaum and they're producing it here. They're doing it here. So you can buy them. We have more products here. So these are very good items which can help you to actually, we have Dr. Vipul Jetli here, and we will sometimes, talk. He's a dentist. He's got an MD in dentistry. So I've had all these problems I've been discussing with him, but I can tell you for sure that if you can use these products, you'll find a difference in your life. And similarly, there are other items which we don't have it here. I'll tell you another incident what happened. I have a friend of mine, he has a daughter. And somehow when we first started making these items about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we produced one thing called Shishu Rakshak, which is basically for children. It's basically distilled cow urine and things like that with a lot of sweetening and a lot of, palatable things in it. It tastes like orange or lime juice or something like that. Yeah. You tried it. So we had this Shishu Rakshak for the children. So we gave it to him and he started giving it to his daughter. And his daughter is completely addicted to it. Anytime she feels a little bad, she goes to her father and, they are Marathi speaking people. She says, and we have one cow in our herd. Her name is Ekadashi. So somehow she caught on to that name when she was a kid. That cows means Ekadashi for her. So whenever she's kind of sick, she goes, Papa mala Ekadashi sa aushad de. Father, please give me Ekadashi's medicine. As soon as she's feeling a little feverish or something, she's not feeling well, she goes to her father and Father, give me that Ekadashi medicine. So they grew her up on this Shishu Rakshak and she has practically no problem. In fact, the pediatrician of Bhaktivedanta Hospital, which is where they live, near Mira Road in Bombay, one day came and asked him, hey, what's happening? Why don't you bring your daughter to me? I haven't seen her for the last 2 years. He said, well, why should I bring her? She's not sick. And the pediatrician was saying, this is wonderful. I've never seen a kid in Bombay who's not sick in every month, at least once a month. And if you're sick once a month, it's okay. So this kid grew up with Shishu Rakshak, and she has very little problem. Even today she goes on Shishu Rakshak. But then he had a son who was a little small, but he's very healthy, he's very thick and fat and good weight and very chubby kind of a boy. So they never thought of giving him Shishu Rakshak because he was naturally very healthy. But then once he had started developing these kind of, diarrhea? All the time he had diarrhea. Several times he was, going. So they didn't know what to do with him. So they took him to the hospital. They put him on IV for about, I think, 5 days. He came back, still had the same problem after he came back. Then he brought him again to some other town. Maybe a change of place could help him. No, he was again back into the same thing. Then again put him to hospital for 1 week. Then it went on like that for a lot of time. So then I happened to visit him at that time, and I was talking to him. He says, my daughter had no problems. She was on Shishu Rakshak, but I'm afraid to give him because he's kind of a pitta, kind of in the prakriti or whatever. So I just kind of off the head, I told him, why don't you give it to him in like homeopathy type, give him in drops. In 1 or 2 drops in a glass of water, and whenever you give him milk or water, just give him some of this. And he was on the IV because of the dysentery. He was not even able to drink mother's milk. So he kind of, so in 3 days, the boy recovered and never went back to the doctor. And his appetite has increased so much that they are really happy about it. Another incident is our devotee in, what's his name? Gopal Prabhu in Sikandrabad. His daughter was hardly eating. She would just play with the food and go away. Then he gave her Shishu Rakshak, and now she's eating 5 times a day. Anytime she sees anyone eating, she goes, Papa, give me food. So she's eating, and then he took some bottles of this Shishu Rakshak to his village and gave it to all the children. And the children started, as it is, they eat a lot, but now they again up. So this is very good kind of thing. So Srila Prabhupada says, that cows are a part of our life. We have to live with cows to be human beings. And this was not kind of artificial. This cow urine is, now we are making it into bottles and all that, but actually it's a natural thing. You just go behind the cow every morning, cup your hand, whenever she gives a cow a little cow in, sip it and finish. That's it. So these are very interesting things. You can use cow urine even to bathe. It's very good. Antiseptic. You can use cow dung to bathe. Only thing is you have to be bothered about the smell. So just to keep people, not to bother people with the smell, we have added a few things in this. This is body soap to bathe. I don't know about others, but ever since I've started using them, I hate soap. Because soap makes your body, they also agree to it. Soap makes your body too dry. But you use this, you'll see it, especially in summers, right? Summers you see the difference. You will never want to use anything else. So and many ingredients in this is cow dung, cow urine, and shikagai, and what else? Rita, or soap nut, and little moong dal. Yes, and few other small powders. It's about 7-8 items in this. So this is another interesting thing that we can use. So like that, there are several other items that we have had. This also is very good. Nasal drops. Where is our? You like it? Yes.
I don't like it. Please try it. What happened was that I have kind of a smaller sister to rhinitis, to sinusitis, rhinitis. So I have severe allergy of smoke and dust, which is available in Bombay. So what happened was that I had bought this medicine sometime, but I was in an impression that I would start using it once, when the acute or this crisis is there, the entire nose swells and the entire thing gets blocked. So I was not having much of faith in this. So I thought once things are okay, I'm in normal state, then I'll keep using these things regularly so that it doesn't occur anymore. But what happened was that the Otriven that I had, it had finished. and I was not having any option. So I just, under compulsion, I just inserted a couple of drops of this. Of course, it was from some other place, but the same composition. So it was so soothing. So within 5 minutes, the entire thing got, normalized, and I experienced the power of
Panchagavya. So sometimes, God creates situations where we have to depend on these things, which is very good. I think you also have some experience on. Yes. He's Dr. Lakshman. He's a physiotherapist. He also has.
November we went for Vrindavan for curriculum for about a week, and after that my roommate was sick, and I just gave her free effect. Then the nasal drops. So he just took it, and he came back next day wanting for another 3-4 to give to others. So there is no take.
So yes. So what Srila Prabhupada has given to us in the form of cow and cow protection will change our lives. And as we saw yesterday, that this the latest arsenal of the medical industry will not, that antibiotics will be out of circulation in how many years did you mention? 2020 by 2020. Most of the current antibiotics will be out of use. And you want to say something about the antibiotic, how it enhances medicinal properties of things? Yeah? Or maybe Dr. I'm not a doctor that way, but I have been able to go with some.
There is a very big danger now coming of antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria, which is a very big problem. Many companies have stopped producing these medicines now because they are realizing that soon the bacteria are going to be in the fight. So therefore we are, to the allopathic, we are entering into a very dangerous field.
So in my, I had also been involved with the documentary. So when interviewing a lot of people, some of the scientists and some of the people at Go Vigyan Anusandhan Kendra, what I discovered was a few qualities you already mentioned about, but because of lack of time probably you had to cut short. But then cow urine has so many qualities. It is an antioxidant, as you said, it is an anti-cancer, antitoxin, antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, and what do we see? Elixir, which slows down the aging process. So it has so many qualities which works almost everywhere. It's not something that would work in one particular disease. It works on the central metabolic system of the body. So any problem that is there in the body takes care of it. So it's not just a medicine, it's kind of also a vaccination tool. And fortunately, there are some positive developments now. For you also, there is a Panchagavya hospital that has been opened at Valsad, you may be aware. So Manik Chand, who used to supply gutkas to people here in India, he had, due to some transformation, he has sponsored a 15 crore hospital which is going to treat cancer only based on cow urine and cow dung. No, I think it's not. Okay, so I will kind of wind up on this cow section here. Another aspect I would like to talk about cow protection is that grazing for cows. Normally we have a habit of stall feeding the cows and keeping them in one place or just giving them a little place to go. But actually grazing, letting the cows graze like Krishna took them, Trunachinaragam, Sriniketanam. So if we can do grazing helps a lot. In our experience, ever since we have started grazing the cows, we've had practically no problem with the cows with their delivery. Very few problems with any other health problems. Even a bull we had who was never, actually we got a bull from Rajasthan, who was never let out throughout his life. He was always tied to one place. He was a servicing bull there.
He was never let out. He had a huge chain on his neck, and he couldn't even take off the chain. He wouldn't let you. He wouldn't walk. But we've been taking him out to graze now, and otherwise he had so much problems. His hooves would grow, and so in one sense, what has happened is that without grazing the cows, only stall feeding the cows will cause disease to the cows, and also that disease will be transferred to human beings. So we need to keep the cows grazing, and that also increases the milk output. We had a cow whom we were stall feeding for 3 years because we didn't have a place to graze her. Then we started taking her out to graze. Initially, she would give milk after calving for only about 3 to 4 months. And after feeding the cow, we would get only, say, quarter liter of milk or something like that. After we start grazing her, we get 4 to 5 liters, 8 liters, 8 to 10 liters of milk a day. After we took her to graze. So that's the additional thing about cows. Anything else?
That also affects the urine property.
Yes. Also, grazing gives them a variety of food to eat, whereas stall feeding gives them just a fixed variety to eat. And they understand what to graze for. And when they're diseased also, they know what to do. Okay, so this is, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's nice to become more aware of how the cow is so important to us and how we should really try to develop. As devotees, most devotees don't have much of a relationship with cows, so it's something that we should really think about, how we have to have a moral relationship with the cow. It's very important for us as human beings. My question.
I want to know what language cows speak. Do they understand human language, or how they communicate with you? What are the symptoms when they become angry, when they become happy, and sometimes they're in ecstasy, sometimes they are different modes. What are the symptoms which you have actually experience on this? So do you please share something within half an hour?
They understand. They understand the language of love, and they reciprocate their language of love. If you live with a computer, you won't understand.
We have nothing to do.
So we'd like to introduce Jivatapa Prabhu from Spain. He's just arrived, and he's going to speak something on meeting 4 basic needs in relation to Varnasrama. Can you speak now? Yeah.
I want to present the slideshow.
The PowerPoint,
Yes. I'm having.
No, we have. I have.
You're ready to show the PowerPoint?
You want to show the PowerPoint? You have the video? You have the video, or you want to show the PowerPoint? PowerPoint.
I have.
You have it?
I'll keep the progress.
Just as we set things up here for our next presentation, Jivatapa Prabhu just arrived yesterday. I only met him actually for the first time yesterday. We have been in contact also just fairly recently, maybe the last few months or something. We've been in contact by email. And Jivatapa Prabhu has been involved with Varnashram matters, or the whole area of Varnashram for some time. He'll give us possibly some details on this, and has produced this very nice PowerPoint which addresses
you were mentioning that it was very briefly yesterday. Basic needs which are there for all of us on this planet. He has, he lives or is from Italy and is doing. I'm sorry. I'm real sorry. Yeah, from Spain, and you have your own garden, I believe. You have your own. You have some land, garden. Yeah. And we'd like, in addition to the presentation, we'd like to hear a little bit about how you are utilizing your land. Somebody was mentioning how on a very small, relatively small piece of land you're producing quite a bit of food, which ties in with our earlier discussion. Started with Maharaj earlier, the importance, not only the importance, but actually the necessity for us as devotees to come to the point of producing our own food and only offering food which is produced by devotees, means food which is pure, which is the only kind of food that should actually be offered to the Lord. So we're very happy that he's actually traveling from quite a long distance. Just arrived yesterday in Mayapur itself. So we are happy that he has been able to make us, to make it with us. And I'll just turn it over to you, and you can carry on. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My name is Dasa. I live in South Spain, near the temple of Malaga. I have there a small plot of land, 2,000 square meters. I cultivate food for my family, basically. Then my presentation is about the social structure of Varnasrama. Because we need a social structure to live. The human society always has a social structure, no? And that is done to facilitate the fulfillment of the needs of the human being, so they can live peacefully and according to Varnasrama, finally to reach self-realization, to reach Prema Bhakti. However, that needs have everyone. You know, in the world we see social capitalist, social structure, we see communist social structure, we see monarchy, we see many others. No, they try the same thing, not to resolve the main problem of the people in general, the human society. Okay, then our social structure is called Daily Varnasrama. Basically, we can say that it's as materialized like any other, in the sense that we have the same material necessities. Sorry to my English, I don't know. Is that? I'm very sorry, no, my English. I'm lacking words on that. Okay, then the idea, you can pass it first. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, then based on okay, yes. The fourth purpose of Davi Varnasrama is on this verse of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that is teaching in Chaitanya Siksamrita. Sadhana Kale Paryanta Vridaya Kama Saparyanta Varnasrama Dharmeya Apeksha. Okay, sorry, from here I can see one. But the point that there he say that meanwhile we have material desire in our heart, we need a social structure. We need Varnasrama. Okay, next. Then he explained the fourth purpose of Varnasrama. You can read in Chaitanya Siksamrita in page 132, I think. Is to maintain the body, to develop the mind, to perform good work for society, and to learn spiritual topics, all with the goal of developing pure bhakti. So I can go there, I can sing better. So I can focus from here. You can from India,
You want to sit here? Sit here, please.
Then we will analyze now one by one the four needs of the sadhakas, as that have still material desire in our heart. Of course, we are like the Goswami of Vrindavan, we are already renounced people. If we are in Satya Yuga, for example, practically, there was social structure because everyone was Paramahamsa. And but now, from Treta Yuga, Vairagya is working in society in general. Then the first physical need of the devotee is to have sufficient food, good health, a proper living place of house, and a basic economic development. If we don't have that, we have desire in our heart. If we don't find that in our temples, we have to go outside to have that. It's logical, because you want basically need. Mental needs of the devotees are professional skills, personal growth, training for integration in cooperative society according to the occupation. Everyone needs to develop some skillfulness to work in the world, to maintain their family, to maintain themselves, to develop, to grow in oneself. Then that is the second aspect of purpose of Varnasrama, to fulfill that. The third one is need of a family. The social aspect of life starts when one married. One need a wife, one children, need friends, need of belonging. That is one of the problems of our children that have no sense of belonging. Because in general, if they are not living in a big place like here in Mayapur, maybe in Ujjain, or maybe I don't know, maybe in Bangladesh, or many families, but in the rest of the world, practically, the children that are living, our children are living outside the city that are not sense of belonging to our society of ISKCON, of Krishna consciousness, because there is no society, only there is spiritual program, temple. Then that is only and here need of spiritual neighbor, association, and government. Okay. Okay, that is social needs. We need friends, etc. The spiritual need of the devotees was association with spiritually advanced and dedicated devotees to live near a temple with a daily program and knowledge of the absolute truth. The best way is to stay near one temple to develop spiritually. This point is already quite explained by Srila Prabhupada in all these books. Here I don't develop very much this point because I cannot say anything. Then about these four needs from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writing. These four needs, physical, mental, social, and spiritual, cannot be denied. For without the development of the body, mind, society, and spirit, human life becomes degraded. It's not only that you come back maybe to the material life that you were doing before, but sometimes we see that even the devotee degrade more than the karmic sometimes. Because to stay inside, maybe they took a position, they don't want this position, teacher in the school, maybe sannyasi, don't know, something, that he don't, it's artificial for him, or maybe I'm married or whatever, then it can become degraded. Well, but you know, say that, you can't do it. Or even become, we say also, stray away, stray away. from Srila Prabhupada's writing. Revolution means they are dissatisfied. This is a conversation with Srila Prabhupada. SyamaRupa Maharaj said, French Revolution, Russian Revolution. Prabhupada said, these things were not going nicely. Therefore, gradually it broke. You have to keep the citizens satisfied or respect. You must know the necessity from how people are satisfied. You have to arrange the government in that way, and then there will be no revolution. The revolution means that they are satisfied. It's okay. Okay. The first duty of government is to see that everyone is happy without any anxiety. This preliminary necessity of life, ahara, nidra, vaya, mituna, it is written with Saint Martin. There must be sufficient arrangement for this preliminary necessity of life. This is in Mayapur, the 14th. Then he said by Prabhupada that if that is not in the life of the devotee, of the general, of the 98% of the devotees, that more or less the devotees are married, then the devotee will left, the devotee will go, the devotee will do something. They will steal sometime, they will like to get fun for themselves. Now I come from one country that there was some devotees now want all the fun of ISKCON, no? We had to fight there, no? In Italy, not long time ago, so was caught the boat from gays and that, in Norway, also. So that is, and the rest of the devotee revolution also means that you say, okay, it's not spiritual life very nice. I chant around my house. I will see my guru or say do something. My guru said sometime I do something. That's it. No? And but he cannot cooperate practically. He had to maintain this necessity. They had to work so long, 8 hours every day. Maybe to pay mortgage, maybe and to search for some work in industry, whatever. And that is one kind of revolution because we lost the devotee. Don't live with us along the temple of our farm. Then that is a kind of revolution that we want to avoid in our days. The old devotee go. Always have the new devotee on the temple. This is Mr. Covey. You know, in Europe he's very known because he's called like a Socrates from America. The devotee study his course about how the living and various. Then he said the same thing here. We can validate it, this four necessity that was needed in the society not only now, but he said knowing the experience of all human beings that is extended all over the world and through all age. The Sapiens literature has recognized this need through the history as better areas of human realization. That is not a new thing, that is coming from Vedic culture or literature, that is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur 100 years ago. In his book, he writing, and now he discovered he became the Socrates of America, no? But Thakur is saying the same thing long time ago. Then now, the four principles to fulfill the four purposes of Varnasrama. Then here we enter the strategy that we can follow. We said there is communist strategy, there is socialist strategy, or whatever, no? To fulfill what's promised now in the when there is the votation. What they promise? We will give you more houses. We will give you more work. We will give you easier to make money. We will be name people vote. They think that basically is based on that four parts. Then how we can do it in our daily Varnasrama community, daily Varnasrama Christian consciousness. The society basically, society means Varna. We are the international society running Varnasrama for Christian consciousness. Basically, we have very good arrangement, very good structure for spiritual life. No? Nobody in the world has a structure that Prabhu gave us for spiritual life. To chant every day, Hare Krishna, to worship the deity, to offer the food, to make Ratanyatra, both distribution, all that, no? And that is our spiritual structure. But what's happening about the other three structures that we to fulfill the other three needs that we have? Then we will start for the first physical need, based on the principle of Idam Shariram Satram. It's a mantra that Prabhupada gives of better literation. Land distribution is the base of civilization. Nothing happens if one don't have land. Sarva Kama Dugamahi, he said. Everything Sarva Kama, all the Sarva can be fulfilled only by fulfill Duga Mahi, from land. When one has land, you can put in the physical, no? Physical, you can put your house, you can produce your food, you have shelter also, then you produce your food, you have health also. So basically, everything based to have a property land, a piece of land. And this also is in contact with one of the constitution of his council of Prabhupada, is that when we make this land distribution in our funds, then this bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of living. Yes, our funds are empty. No? Our Srila Prabhupada was the only Acharya who bought funds. Nobody else. No Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, no Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, no Devaswami Vrindavan, nobody. He bought funds. Only Prabhupada. When he came here, because he see that in the material world, the cities are so contaminated, are so difficult to maintain the principle of the city. Very difficult, almost impossible. And to continue and to live, no? To pay the house, to pay everything. No? Then he buy farm. He spend a lot of money, time, everything to buy Niketanagari in Mayapur, in Europe, or here, Anava, everywhere. But almost all of them are empty. That means that we don't know what to do with the land. Basically, we don't know what to do with the land, or rather, what to do with the land. In New Mayapur, what to do with the land. New Mayapur explain what to do. Then land distribution is the answer. Here in Mayapur, 600 acres or hectares, no? You see. And the devotee maybe are living in Calcutta, India. After when there are questions, I suppose that you will have many questions, what I presented, no? I present in general now, after question, no? Because, okay, then that is one of the pillars. Varnasrama have 4 pillars. The Prabhupada says you have 4. You have a table, 4 legs, animal, working 4 legs, chair, 4. No? Eventually, land distribution is well for all the devotees. Eventually, that means that to own a certain piece of land is the basic civilization. Everyone must have a portion of land to produce his food, to put his house, of course, etc. Yes. God representative king, he gives you land, possess you can possess, tena bundita. Then this is the principle. Prabhupada said the communist was a good idea. Prabhupada said, no? This is the principle of communism. Ishavasi and Sarvan, Prabhupada said that the problem in the communists that they put the leader Lenin, no? Lenin, the kind of people, no? Materialist. But Prabhupada said you take out that because Krishna, Sri Krishna, Isha, the real proprietor of everything. And tena bundita means that you have the right to add quota of where you can live. The possessor you can possess, but you are the second possessor. The first is the deity. Here, Radha Madhava or Radha, that is the, and then the land to be distributed. Tena bundita. That means the first principle of communism. After you work and grow your food, and because it's God property, you give some taxes. Whatever you produce, 25% give to God or King. And balance, you enjoy. If there is no production, no tax, this is peaceful life. Here we are not talking about selling land, not to rent land, nothing of that. That is capitalist. introduce many conflicts generally. We have seen in all Europe, many places where they are renting house or renting land or selling after lots of problems. Prabhu said, I have about 5 quotations where Prabhu say that we have to how to distribute the land. No? Here is one. So the floor is giving a 13 tract of land free, and let him produce flowers and make business. But the quantity of flower is required for the temple he must supply daily. Similarly, the band's men, he should come and play and band, to chant. Everything was based on land distribution. That was the system. This is my humble house, my humble wife, and this left. This one. I grow the table. I have about it's 2,000 square meters. Right, too big for me. For one family, one, two children, 2,000 meters. With 1,000 square meters, quite good to put the trees and to have at least to come. You have more children, 4 or 5 children, and you need more, 2,000 square meters, 1,500, something like that. Wooden house, natural house. The fulfillment of mental needs based on the principle of, Prabhu said many times, wherever we have got our center, a Varnasrama college should be established to train for the Dsl. And that means that not only the temple, you have, where you have farm, you have to have the temple, but you have to have a place where the devotee develop their skill. Their profession. Varna means profession. The profession that you will do. Everyone has profession. In a small village in Europe, anywhere, in all the villages, are there what is called professional formation. After 12, after 14, that the children go out from the primary teaching, they have, the government is prepared for, they become electrician or engineering, that is for medical, carpenter, whatever, no? That is one thing that we need in our temple. Our children, we don't know what to do with them after the 12 or 13, no? Maybe some of them can go to the temple and learn many mantras, be good brahmanas, or maybe can study high study, but the most, Prabhu said 5% is Brahminical, 95% not Brahminical. The rest you have to have your gym for Kshatriya, not to learn. Prabhu said you have to learn to our Kshatriya, our farms. Prabhu said then we have to have our gym. Place where the devotees learn their own natural profession. If that is not, we cannot make any community. We don't have that, we cannot progress in community. Then the cells, we talk now about the second necessity, no? The human life. Now the third one is to fulfill the social needs based on the principle of organized village life, plain living, high thinking. A government based on 2 partners, Brahmana, advisor, and Kshatriya, or manager. Government division for cooperation. But here, I have to add one thing, that we need executive body in all our funds, in all our place. You know? But, because if there are no vigilance or executive body, no? What's happened now in many farms, so maybe the body after, they say, I don't have money, or maybe they start to plant marijuana, no? Some farmers doing that, or maybe they do, they got, after they had to come the temple president, the sannyasi to fight with them, you know, and that is artificially completed, you know? There have to be some devotees that take that tax of 25%, at least some devotees, Kshatriya, that character, no, giving one advice, one lawyer, one saying, one Kshatriya, no, that people have to be there vigilant, you know, that everything be in order. So you want to maintain order, you need the army, you need the Kshatriya. You know, you cannot have any order anywhere, and not any farm mission. Well, you have only problem there, no? They're not, almost all the farmers have problem. And because basically they are not executive body or people who are vigilant very important for our organization. And the fourth, the last one, is the spiritual need based on principle of Brahminical session, daily spiritual program, the devotion, co-protection, Krishna. Co-protection is good for all the necessity, physical, mental, social, and spiritual. It is very important. Krishna, festivity, Harinam, purification, general society, all that is the principle why you place the spiritual thing of relation of the community or the society. Preaching with preaching without Varnasrama is a small scale of preaching. How Prabhu said, we cannot all them to be brahmanas or sannyasas. No, that is not possible. It is a small scale. But you want to make the whole human society better, then this Krishna consciousness movement should be introduced according to Krishna instruction. The whole mass of people will get the benefit of it. Then it is required systematic. It's very karmani havirataha samsiddhim dhavatenaraha. Parupakar means mass benefit. Not there is a certain section. No. Then we have to introduce this Varnasrama. It must be done perfectly, and it is possible, and people will be happy. Within 7 to 7. That is with a Varnasrama cannot Sarasukino Bhavan too. Our mother said that introduce our Krishna movement in the human society in general. Thank you very much. Your question.
Tight on our schedule, but if anyone has any questions for a few minutes, we can take some questions or some comments.
So Prabhu, you said basically with 1,000 square meter, which is about one fourth of an acre, right?
Well, 2,000 for with one children, but with a family with one child, maybe 1,000 square meters.
So it's like 1/4 of an acre or 1/2 of an acre.
1/10. 1/10.
No, an acre. But an acre would be
1/10 of hectare, but 1/4 of acre.
Yeah. And so you're able to produce food, right? And how much hour? What was the dedication that you have to put every day to get all your food? Throughout the year and throughout the day.
Practically very few times. No? Prabhupada said he had experience. I had faith in that because that I bought a plot of land. No? Because he said only 3 months in the year is sufficient for one family maintain all the food for all the year. I travel, I actually do some business because I had to buy a farm. The temple don't give me. I have to buy. I am mortgaged 10 years. No, I had to go to work money outside, no, because the field, the land is going to give you a lot of money, you know. Even I sold a lot of tomatoes last year, a lot of things, no, but it was easier for me to go and gain 1,000 euros selling anything in a business than not to sell tomatoes or to sell flowers like that, no. But for all of my family, is maintaining with that. I have calabaza, asking for until still 6 months more I have, no? And tomatoes also you can have for all the year after you grow for 3-4 months. That is that you don't give a lot of work, give very few work really in the field. And the trees, I have avocado, lychees, orange, papaya, no? Don't need almost any care. I put this watering system, no? I use electricity, of course. I have no wood, I cannot have wood, I have a small machine to plow, like that. But very few work. Really, you have a lot of time to chant Hare Krishna, you have a problem now. You can be sure.
And you produce grains also?
No. Another thing is that the cow and the grains. You know, I saw it when I was a child that the grain was produced for a few families. It was my uncle, my father, other family members that have a common place where they grow the wheat, and like that. I think before I hear about the cow, sometimes how to maintain the cow. I think that also are something that have to be in between a few families, that living already there first because you have to situate to the families in the land. After come the cows, the goats, of the thing. Because when the family is there living, then you always will take care of the cows,
So grains and cows is the extended family.
There's between a few families that take care, in a apart place, in a different place, because in 1,000 square meters you cannot have. The cow is difficult with the grain also. There has to be some areas, common areas.
Prabhu lives in south of Spain, and so he gets these avocados and things like that. And of course, adjustments would have to be made depending on where you live, the land, the climate, etc., etc., etc. So I'd like to introduce Dsl Prabhu. He's worked a lot on Vedic economics. Have you ready?